Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Bible study. Today we're continuing on with our series and we're at dedication of Mary to the temple. Bible study with Jade? Okay. When Mary was a year old, her father Joachim also dedicated her to service in the temple. Meanwhile, she was prepared for her temple service at home. And Hannah said unto her husband, Joachim, Build thou a chamber for Mary our daughter, so that she may abide therein until she hath grown somewhat, and we can carry her up to Jerusalem, where she may dwell before the Lord, even as we have promised him. Then Joachim built for his daughter a beautiful sanctuary chamber, decorated with rare, costly fabrics and containing an imposing shrine. Here she lived during the tender years in a heaven world atmosphere, surrounded by peace and beauty and companioned by angels. She was taught by her initiate parents who understood from their own angelic teachers the high destiny awaiting their daughter. When Mary was 3 years of age, her parents chose 7 maidens, neophytes in the holy mysteries, to accompany the Virgin to Jerusalem, where she was presented at the temple and received with praise and thanksgiving. And the high priest made prophecy, The Lord God of Israel shall bless thy name, Mary, for in thee he hath revealed the redemption of the people. When Mary arrived before the portals of the temple, she heard a voice from heaven abiding her welcome, and her entire being flamed with radiance. Oh, do you ever feel that? That sparkle magic? How you are just flaming with radiance? You're sparkling bright. Yeah. A little bit? Good. Hold on to that little bit. Yeah. Hold on to that little bit and focus on it, and it won't be so little. A kid like that, yeah. Prior to leaving the home of her parents in Nazareth, several temple priests had come to examine her as to her worthiness for temple residence. They were greatly surprised and almost overawed by the young girl's wisdom together with her extreme humility and sweetness of manner. Similarly, when she entered the temple, everyone was anonymous in acclaiming her a wise and gifted child. Accompanied by her parents and the long processional of maidens bearing flowers and chanting the psalms, Mary arrived in the women's court. Standing before the 15 steps leading to the Nicanor gate, Joachim and Anna formally dedicated their treasured child to heaven. Mary climbed the steps alone and entered within, where she was greeted by 10 resident temple maidens and the holy women. Anne, the prophetess, whose work it was to supervise and direct the lives of those young temple neophytes, the students. Mary's teachers did not include only those in physical embodiment. She had been in conscious contact with angels from birth. It was after her temple entrance that she came into the exalted consciousness wherein she received illumination from the blessed Lord. Himself, it says, In the sanctity of her little room overlooking the inner temple containing the Holy of Holies, Mary knew the divine ecstasy of bands of angels with the triumphant chorusing and the sublime wonder of the love that had been accorded her by the blessed Lord. Oh. Mary was in constant prayer. Pause. What does that mean? It means your energy. Yeah. Where is your energy going? You know, your sparkle energy? Yeah. Is it sparkling bright with the best intention? Because you pray without words. Like, praying without words is best, right? I know. I've been waiting to say this. Is a perfect moment. The energy that we push out is our constant prayer. So when your energy is just sparkle bright and you're in connection with creation, that's what constant prayer means, at least as far as I understand it. Yeah, I will do a class on that. Yeah, but I wanted to, because Mary's a child and she's doing this. So that's why I wanted to make sure, because we are practicing this at Tarot Island School. All the kids are practicing their energy. So that, like, Mary is like a kid. She's in this. Well, it says she's in her women's court right now. Yeah, but she's still, like, she's had to practice this. She grew in grace and in understanding of creation and everything good. The priest looked upon her with veneration and cast lots to discover which of them was worthy to become her teacher. They drew straws. In the deeper mysteries of the law, they drew straws to see who gets to become her teacher. The lot fell on Zadok, a man ripe in both years and wisdom. The high priest blessed Zadok and said, Behold, the Lord hath prepared for you a daughter, that is to say, Mary. Guard ye her diligently, and teach her to go in and to come forth from the temple of the Lord. To go in and out of the temple is, as commonly known among esotericists, a phrase which is referenced to the liberation from the ego, from the body of initiation. When it's talking about, because there's two types of ego, right? Anytime you're talking about life force ego, like that spark, that inner spark, that's a good one. But anytime you listen to it and it's talking about it in kind of like a kind of way, that's talking about that desire. Yeah, that thing that likes to stop us from doing our best. Yeah, that. So she is going through liberation of that in the through the body of initiation. And that's what go in and out of the temple means, that's what they're saying. It's a process which makes it possible for the individual to visit the temple not made with hands, which is namely to go to the inner planes of life and of being, which is the unseen places. Yeah, it's that realm of imagination, that place that you go when you're sparkling bright and you're doing your spiritual work, you're feeling magic, wherever it is you go, the unseen world. That's what makes it possible, is when we, yeah, exactly. To go in and out of the temple means to go back and forth from that. Yeah. From the morning of the... wait. Saint Jerome gives us the following index as to Mary's character and her daily temple routine. Oh, okay. From the morning of the third hour, from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., she gives herself to prayer. From the 3rd to the 9th, it says from 9 to 3, to external work, and from 3 to 6, she again prays. She was always the first lady at the holy vigils, the most learned in the wisdom of the law, the most lovely in humility, the most skillful in the Psalms of David, the most marvelous in charity. Oh man, I should have skipped this part. The purest of the pure, the most outstanding. Oh, because we are honoring the Sacred Mother and the women that really did live and really did do this, because this is a true story. Right. Pure and most outstanding in every virtue. She was steady and persevering, and each day she spent better than the last. No one ever saw or heard her angry. Every word that she said was so full of grace that it was clear that God was speaking in her. She praised God without ceasing, and when one greeted her, she replied, "Thanks be to God." Can I just take a break to imagine really quick what that would have been like, Like, she had parents that come from a long life of Your purpose is to live holy so you can bring a holy child so that we can save humanity. Like, there's a whole group of people that do that. Exactly. Yeah, now we just want to make more people that look just like us. It's a little different. That's not the same thing. Like, they were seriously focused on being holy. I just wanted to think about that for a second, of what that would be like to grow up like that. That's it. The esotericist understands that Mary's temple service was a time of probationary discipline in preparation for the high initiations to follow, the highest ever to be given upon this earth to an ego clothed in a feminine body. This required a long and difficult process of sensitization, even for one processing such great spiritual attainment as did Mary. The Divine Lady referred to this arduous discipline in her revelation to Saint Elizabeth of Scanu in the following words: "My daughter, you think I had all these graces without trouble? It is not so. I assure you that I received from God no grace, no gift, no virtue without great labor, continual prayer, ardent desire, profound devotion, many tears, and much affliction." The supreme purpose of initiatory discipline and temple training can never be expressed more beautifully and completely than in the lady's further words to Saint Elizabeth, which are here appended. All right. "The Lord did with me what a musician does with his harp. The musician sets and tunes all the strings so that they give forth a sweet and harmonious melody, and then he sings while playing on it. Thus creation brought into harmony with their will my soul and heart and mind and all these senses and actions of my body. And being trained in this matter by the wisdom I used to be carried by the angels to the bosom of creation. And there I received such consolation and joy and such bliss and well-being and such love and sweetness that I no longer remembered that I had ever been born in this world. Besides, I was in such close intimacy with God and his angels that it seemed to me as though I had always existed in that true glory. Then when I had stayed there as long as pleased the creation energy, they gave back to me the angels, and they carried me to the spot where I had begun to pray. When I found myself on earth again and recalled where I had been, this memory inflamed me with such a love of God that I embraced and kissed the ground and the stones and the trees and the other created things, the growth, out of love for those who had created them. And it seemed to me that I should be the handmaiden of all the temple women, and I wished to be subjected to all creatures out of love for their supreme creator. Creation energy. And I frequently had this experience. Once when I was thinking that I never wanted to be deprived of God's grace, I arose and went to read in the scriptures, desiring something to console my soul. When I opened the book, the first thing I saw was the passage of Isaiah. Behold, a pure potential shall conceive and bear a son. As I understood from this that the Son of God was going to choose a pure potential to be his mother, I immediately resolved in my heart, out of reverence for that one, to remain pure myself and to offer myself to her as a handmaid and always to serve her and never leave her, even if I had to travel all over the world with her. The initiatory pattern is always the same. The aspirant, after being lifted to the heights, must be tested and tried in the depths. Gethsemane inevitably follows transfiguration. Little Mary, after these periods of exaltation, would invariably be subjected to the most severe tests of her entire life in the endeavor to break her poise, calm, and unbroken contact with the divine light wisdom. One of the most bitter forms of persecution was that of her girl temple companions who, incited by Mary's rare virtues, were moved to extremes of envy and jealousy. They tried by all means of falsification to have her dismissed in disgrace from the temple. And to try her inner strength even further, it was in these crucial times that her angels would hide their faces and she would find herself alone in her extremity. Although she sorrowed grievously, her pain and prayer were for those who erred and not for herself. Never once was trial severe enough to break her faith or overshadow her trust. Both of her parents passed in death during this time, and Mary was permitted to see in spirit and bless their translations. Their translations, they're star bodies, like to be translated from this place to the other is to shift form. So you're here in physical, but star body. So she could see them in their star body self, their translation. When the Holy Maid had been proved immune to all evil, her mystical experiences increased. Her spiritual faculties were enlarged, and in the tender ministry of her guiding angels, she was prepared for the next soul adventure. And I'll see you next in the betrothal of the marriage of Mary, the betrothal and marriage of Mary and Joseph.